What's going on, everybody, and welcome to another episode of The Other Side of the Firewall, where we talk about the latest and greatest in cybersecurity news, as well as we highlight those movers and shakers and glass ceiling breakers, those people of color who've made it to the other side of the proverbial firewall. My name is Ryan Williams, and as always, I'm joined by Shannon Tynes.
What's up? What's up?
And LeVon Maynard.
What's going on, everybody?
What is the deal? So welcome to, this should be Tuesday's episode, if you're tuned in real time. Definitely hit us up. Listen to Monday where we talk about a LAN-tenna attack. So if you know what that is, because it's a fairly new term, please check that out. That was Shannon's. And then Wednesday, we'll have a discussion concerning women and minorities being targeted more when it comes to cybersecurity attacks and hacks and things of that nature. And then Friday, we talk about everything else. So definitely tune in for that. Without further ado, I give it to LeVon for today's topic.
Right on. So yeah, today we have a topic courtesy of CNN.com. This is from I want to say Geneva Sands from CNN. This article is titled "TSA to impose cybersecurity mandates on railroad and aviation industries," and this is a pretty cool article. I'm gonna read some of the article for you guys because it has some great information in here. But essentially, the Transportation Security Administration will impose new cybersecurity mandates on the railroad and airline industries, including reporting requirements as part of the department effort to reduce compliance. To force compliance in the wake of high-profile cyber attacks on critical industries. This is a courtesy of Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas, who announced this on Wednesday. Looks like the Department of Homeland Security is moving to require more companies in critical transportation industries to meet a cybersecurity baseline, chipping away at voluntary cybersecurity incident reporting. As part of the forthcoming security directive, TSA will require higher risk railroad and rail transit entities to report cyber incidents to the federal government, identify cybersecurity point persons, and to put together contingencies and recovery plan in case they become victims of cyber attacks. That directive will be issued by the end of the year, and Mayorkas said at the annual Billington Cybersecurity Summit, where he spoke virtually. And then he goes on. The article goes on to say that also on Wednesday, Deputy Attorney General Lisa Monaco announced that for the first time, the Justice Department plans to impose substantial fines on government contractors or companies that receive federal funds when they fail to follow cybersecurity standards, such as requirements to report ransomware attacks. And under the new initiative, the Justice Department will go after contractors for knowingly providing deficient cybersecurity products or services, knowingly misrepresenting their cybersecurity practices or protocols, or knowingly violating obligations to monitor and report cybersecurity incidents and breaches. So to summarize this, basically, I mean, we're looking at TSA is going to start like locking down on these companies, especially like the railroad and airline industries, to make sure that they are, staying compliant or staying up to date with their cybersecurity, and make sure they're reporting incidents as soon as they occur or within a set period of time. Because as we know, I mean, cybersecurity has been on the hot topic as of late, especially with the COVID and as we all have heard, some of the incidents with the meat packing product company in like Brazil, and then we had an oil pipeline thing happening here in the U.S. So I think it's great that we're having the federal, having some federal like mandates and processes in place that these companies need to follow, or there be in a chance of being a fine, a substantial amount that can affect their business. Because obviously we know that cybersecurity is a big thing, and that these companies need to be held up to a standard. They can't just be going about their business and assume that they're secure as they need to be, and have no kind of maybe legal obligation or any kind of like follow up or any kind of like a negative like reinforcement to their lack of cybersecurity awareness in the company. So it's good that the federal government is trying to step forward and take a big stance, a big presence in this field, and make sure that these companies are being held to a standard. Because we can't have these companies, especially with these. Obviously, we've seen a lot of companies lose data, important data, like we had with the reporting. I can't think of the name of the reporting that lost all the social security numbers and things of that nature. But we have to have these companies be held to a standard that they need to follow, or else they'll be fined X amount of money that will come down from the government. So um, I'm looking forward to seeing how this develops. I mean, obviously, the Biden administration has been kind of focused on this. It's been a big initiative since he's come to office, making sure that we're secure. Um, and I'm hoping that this kind of like snowballs and we get some more action out of it. And obviously, us being cyber people that are in the cyber field, I mean, this is gonna help us look even better, help us get more jobs in the field. These companies are going to be looking for more cybersecurity professionals that can actually uphold to these standards. And I'm hopeful to see what the future has in store for us. But what do you have on this, Ryan? What you think?
Yeah, I definitely think you hit the nail on the head on that one. When it comes to regulation, I know people kind of some people do not like it. They don't want government overreach, things of that nature. I get that. With this one being just uh, getting them on the same page, right? To kind of find a balance between these companies and the needs for them to properly report. Because at the end of the day, companies that are in these sectors care about the bottom line first, right? They have shareholders, they have to maintain a certain status per quarter and things of that nature to continue to make money. That may make you not the quickest on the draw to report a cyber attack or to discuss a breach, right? And this is very important in these industries, like especially we talk about airlines, right? We've talked about it a couple times in the past about these leaks or these breaches in their security, and we never even touched the railroads, right? And that's still how we get a lot of our stuff shipped across the U.S. is by rail. So they also need to be protected. And both of these are very they're no longer solely mechanized, right? They're very intertwined with the internet as well as with um, the databasing, data warehousing, things of that nature. So there's a lot of info out there that could be detrimental to I would say people who are flying airlines, as well as to people who are expecting to receive certain goods, products, things of that nature. We talked about it. I want to say either last week or the week before about the ports being attacked. So the Coast Guard having to get involved because a port was attacked due to known vulnerabilities, and they're able to quickly um, stop the attack and protect the data. So the same thing needs to be available to the railroad companies as well as the airlines. So I think oversight is fine in this regard. You're all no one's on the same page. No one understands cyber. I think there needs to be some kind of federal assistance that they need to come in and provide guidance, a framework, um, or at least integrate them into a NIST or into a FISMA or into one of those to report properly, just to keep everybody safe. So I'm for the oversight. And as well as LeVon said, this is an opportunity for them to actually put people in the right positions. Now that you have this, you need a CIO, you need a CISO of some sort, you need an ISSO, and it just goes down the line, right? You need all these people to make sure that you are within the proper governance, so that way you don't receive a fine because that's just going to take away from your bottom line. So I think it's a win-win. So I can't wait to see how it's properly implemented in the future. But what about you, Shannon?
So I got a couple things on this. So like, yeah, you make some good points on there. You and LeVon both make some good points on there. But this did not. When I read this article, it didn't surprise me, right? Because President Biden, his administration came out with stuff that was directed more towards DoD when it came to cyber regulation and things like that, and federal agencies, right? So like when you think of aviation, right, you think of planes flying with people, whether it be cargo, whatever it may be, right? But they actually have rules they have to follow that are the Federal Aviation Administration, is the FAA, right? So when you start thinking about that, it's like it's only a matter of time before things that the government's hands touch already, they're going to be like, okay, now we need to make sure we go in there and secure things however we need to do it, right? And here's the second and third order effects of this, right? So if you pay attention to what's going on in the news now, right, you see the big thing that people are talking about is the infrastructure bill, right? When it comes to that infrastructure bill, where is some of that money going into, right? It's going into railroads, right? It's going into railroads. You're going to start to see it going into other things that are going to be affected by this, that if the government is going to be giving you billions and billions of dollars, you know what I mean, to make these things better, they're going to want to know that it's protected. They're protecting their investment, kind of, you know what I mean? So to say, okay, we're not telling you you have to do it like this. We're just telling you have to be safe and you have to report to us if something is wrong, right? So like I wouldn't be surprised if they're paying attention to the story we had on, I think it was last week, about the first death based off a ransomware attack, right, with the 9-month-old child. So maybe it was something like that, right? If you're going to put money in the infrastructure and helping all these things, you're kind of pushing people to use those services, right? So you're pushing people to fly more, use the railways more. You know, President Biden loves his Amtrak, right? Like that's his thing, right? Don't take away his trains. So if you're going to push people to that, you need to make sure they're protected, right? And that's probably, like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if that was kind of the cherry on top, to be like, we don't need this happening to anybody. You know what I mean? Where someone or several people get on a plane and there's some type of ransomware attack where there's some type of bug or something, and you know the plane has some type of accident or whatever it may be. They just can't. You can't let that happen. So this didn't shock me. Paying attention to other stuff that's going on in the world. Not just from a cybersecurity perspective, but or in the nation, I shouldn't say the world. Paying attention to what all is going on, those second and third order effects of putting money into these different things led me to believe that, yeah, this was only a matter of time before this came. But I'm not mad at it. You know what I mean? Again, I'm the Patriot Act guy, right? Like make sure the Terrys ain't out there. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, this was a good read. It was an interesting read for me.
Yeah, definitely. So we'll keep our eyes, on it. I'm sure it will further develop before the end of the year, because right now they're doing a campaign where they're saying like, "Hey, this is coming," and companies are already pushing back like, "Hey, no, we can't do this. Hey, we can't do that." So they'll find a middle ground, or like Shannon said, if we're giving you money, then money comes with strings. So if you want this modernization of the railroads, then you're going to have to take this regulation to go with it, or this oversight. And again, it's just putting the right people in the right places. So if you already have that current infrastructure in there, it's not going to be that hard of a stretch if you have the right people in the right places, right? But if you don't, then I can see you pushing back like, "Oh, I want to hire a crew of people to keep me safe." Well, listen to the way that sounds. So I'm sure it will come to pass. So pretty excited. Definitely a good episode. Thank you, Shannon. Thank you, LeVon. Thank you for all those who are tuned in, listening. Please like, share, subscribe. I always forget to say that with your friends. Continue to tune in. So if you missed Monday, tune into the Monday episode where we talk about the land antenna attack. And then definitely tune in tomorrow where we talk about how women and minorities are targeted more than other groups when it comes to hacking and cyber attacks. And then Friday's episode, we talk about everything else. So definitely always looking forward to the Friday episode. And then as I discussed, I believe in the last episode, either next week or the week after, we'll have on Mr. Gabriel Davis. He is a member of the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, or CISA for short. We'll have him on to join us in a discussion. To be determined. So definitely continue to tune in. Hit us up at the website. That's www.theothersideofthefirewall.com, where you get to our social medias. Definitely hit me up personally. I am at RY Security Guy. That's RY Security Guy. And you can hit me up on LinkedIn, Clubhouse, Twitter, and TikTok. And you, LeVon?
You can hit me up on the Twitters at LeVon Maynard.
There it is. So stay safe, stay secure.
Take care.